What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today we're going to be working on a 2011 Volvo XC90 P2. Today we're going to be covering how to replace the infamous tailgate handle on the XC90 behind me. I have not come across a P2 XC90 that has not had this issue, and the issue I'm talking about is when you go to open your hatch, you pull down on the lever, it usually gets stuck and then you can't close it. Sometimes you have to wedge a small screwdriver or get a tiny child's finger in there to pop this back open. The cause? The pin that holds this latch in place rusts over time, oxidizes, and it won't allow the little flap here to travel anymore. So today we're going to show you how to replace the whole piece. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tools we're going to need for this DIY. For this DIY, we're going to need just a couple basic tools. We have an 8mm and a 10mm socket. Today we're going to be using a 1/4" ratchet with a small extension. We're also going to be using a T25, a small pick, a small flathead screwdriver will work as well, and a trim removal tool. Now we know what tools we're going to need. Let's go ahead and get started on this DIY. All right, my good people, to get started, we're going to demonstrate what happens when these handles, Volvo tailgate handles fail. So right now I'm going to open this, and it is now currently stuck. You go to close your hatch, you get the point. So to get started in this DIY, the first step is going to be to remove the license plate if you have not already. Our car still has the traditional Volvo plate bracket, so we have two 10mm knurled bolts to remove. So we'll just take our 10mm on our ratchet and take these off. That's going to give us more room to pull this handle out. Next, we're going to work on removing the bracket itself, which is held in by two T25s. Now with that off, we can take a better look at the handle here itself. So if you take a quick peek inside, you can see it is completely rotted actually. It's actually broken. Let's give you a better look at that. So you can actually see the rod on this one that's completely broken. It is basically two pieces now, and what's happening is you open and that gets stuck open. So definitely due for a replacement. Now we have the license plate removed, we can work on removing this interior panel so we can get one step closer to removing our tailgate handle. So let's do that now. Now we're going to work on removing our interior tailgate light. Just use a small trim removal tool. Our light has a small green connector here. Just push down on this tab to release it and pull it away. In the same area, there's one T25 that we want to remove. All right, that's going to situate the driver's half. For this side, we're going to use the trim removal tool as well. Again, just working on separating the outer half of the handle. These can be a bit of a pain in the butt, unlike the light, so you may have to work it a little bit. This little leather strap, if your vehicle is equipped with one, is held in by an 8mm bolt. Now, funny enough, someone must have been in here on this one because it will not come out. It just keeps spinning. So no problem. We're just going to go ahead and let this hang here. But similar to the passenger side, we have a couple T25s on this side. We're only going to focus on this one on the bottom left corner that holds this outer panel in place. The other one holds in this inner handle portion, which we do not need to remove. So one T25, we can go ahead and zap that one out as well. Now, one thing to note, these T25s, the one with the handle is significantly longer than the one with the light. So just keep these separate so they only go in to their proper homes. So long one, passenger side with the handle, short one beneath the trim light. Now that we have all the hardware, at least screws wise, that hold this panel onto place, the only thing that's still holding it onto the tailgate is some pop clips. These are similar to what you would see on your door cards. My BMW people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's just a matter of pulling the panel away from the tailgate. So we're just going to use some space over here. We're just going to reach in where our light was. We're going to hold the tailgate with one hand. We're just going to pull straight down away from the tailgate with our other hand. It's going to be a little bit rough. Sometimes if they've been off before, they might come off a little bit easier, but sometimes they're pretty tight. After you bonk yourself on the head with the panel, go ahead and set it to the side. Now we have the paneling off, we have a better view of what this looks like in here. We have a couple things to get out of our way before we can remove the actual tailgate handle itself. So we're gonna start by removing 3 10mm bolts that hold this windshield wiper motor in place. We're not gonna remove it fully, it's just gonna be floating around so we can access a couple hidden 10mm nuts. All right, with that off, that's gonna allow us to move this around a bit and access the 2 10mm nuts on the bottom. Before we get to that point though, let's work on removing this small bracket over here. Again, 3 8mm bolts hold that in. Now we have that out of the way, we can work on disconnecting the last 2 things that are attached to our tailgate handle, one being the release cable and one being the electrical connector. For the release cable, you're going to want to pop this little yellow tab off. It has a little ear on either side that goes around the bracket on the tailgate handle itself. You use your fingers, just kind of push the yellow clips back at the same time, just like that, and then pull it straight back. And then from there, this whole cable assembly just slides up. I'm going to use the small pick to free it from the handle itself, just like so. And it helps if you actuate the handle. And this one literally just self-released. Pretty standard, something you would see on like your bicycles or small mopeds, but almost looks like a throttle cable. We'll give you a better detailed view of how this goes on once we get to that point. Moving over to the right, we have the electrical connector. This one just has one small tab up top, similar to the green one here from our light. You just simply push on the tab on the top and pull it off. And now with that, we can work on removing the 4 10mm fasteners that hold this on. We have 4 nuts, 2 behind the motor, and 1 in either one of these openings. So we'll start with the easy ones first, and then we'll get to the 2 behind the motor. All right, there's the second nut. Now we're gonna grab our extension once more and attach it so we can get the last 2 10mm nuts that are behind the windshield wiper motor themselves. All right. Now we can just go ahead and pull the handle out from the outside here. Get rid of this crap. There we go. These do have small plastic alignment dowels, which on the old one we do not care about. They're going to break either way because they're going to be brittle. There's a couple on the inside, some on the outside, total of 4. The new one will be fine because it's going to go in one time and it's going to stay in. Yeah, you can even see the rust that was coming through on the ends of the pin. That's how bad this thing was. This is where the cable attaches to on the handle, so pretty straightforward. When we install our new one, we'll show you. We're going to actuate the handle itself so that this is closer to the locating tab, giving us some room for some slack to get that situated. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and give this a quick wipe while I have it off. Now we're going to go ahead and install our new tailgate handle. Make sure you're installing it the way your old one came out. Electrical connector on the driver's side and the attachment tab for the cable on the passenger side. All right. Once this looks nice and even, along with the trim here underneath the Volvo logo, now we can go ahead and hop back inside and work on securing the 4 10mm nuts that hold this to our tailgate, and then we'll attach the rest of the items. Now we're going to start by installing the 2 10mm nuts underneath the windshield wiper motor so we can get those situated and out of the way. All right, while I have you there, we're going to go ahead and just snug them down now by hand. Not really going to use a torque wrench for something like this, but if you wanted to use one, no more than 8 Newton meters. Okay, those 2 are situated. Now we'll do the 2 on the outside. Again, just starting them by hand first. Getting rid of the extension on our ratchet. You could probably use a swivel here if you wanted to with an extension, if you didn't want to be so close in here, but it's pretty easy. While I have you there, we'll also Connect our license plate lights back in. Beautiful. Now over on the passenger side. Nice and snug. So our cable end is in. Now we want to get the square portion that locks into the tailgate itself on as well. It's going to go along with this small yellow clip. There we go. Make sure it seats all the way down and then push the yellow lock tab in. Voila. Now with that, we're left with the three 10mm bolts that hold our windshield wiper motor in place. Now we have that situated, we can go ahead and install our weighted bracket. Again, this one was held in with three 8mm bolts. All right, my good people, with that, that's gonna button up everything that's gonna sit behind our tailgate panel. So let me grab that now. We're just gonna pop it back into place. We're gonna wanna make sure that the wiring for our light goes through. You can get this handle pulled through as well. And you wanna do your best to line up the tabs that are on this panel with the tailgate. That way your clips line up as well. And then it's just a matter of giving that a couple love taps all the way around. And from there, we're gonna switch over to our T25s. Again, don't forget the shorter one goes on the side of the light. And while we're here, we can also reinstall our light once more. Plug it in. Then we'll take our longer T25 that goes behind our handle. And get that one in as well. All right, now we can pop this one back into place. You wanna get these bottom teeth or the lower portion in first, then clip over the top part. All right, now we can work on installing our license plate bracket once more. So we can go ahead and set that gently like so. We'll grab our two T25s and we're just gonna snug them down. Again, no reason to crank on them. And our awesome cover. Available on FCPEuro.com. Two 10mm nuts. And now the most important part. Yeah, baby. That is what we like to see. A tailgate handle that releases and works properly. Overall, a really straightforward and easy DIY on the P2 XC90. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.